Hey everybody, it's Silver Seeker and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is the first in a probably 3-part series. I don't know if it's going to be 3 or 4, but I think you guys are going to like this, especially if you're into numismatics, coin collecting like I am. I had a subscriber reach out to me and offer to send me an entire set of peace dollars. Now, I don't get to keep them. He wanted to know if he sent them to me, if I would evaluate them, send them to PCGS for him, and then, of course, reveal the PCGS grades, which we will do, and then send them back. And I'm really excited to do this. So this comes from a subscriber. I didn't actually ask him if he wants to be named in the video, so if he does, we'll name him in the second one after we see this one. But in this first video, we are actually going to open up this box and evaluate this entire set of peace dollars, which is going to be very awesome. So really quick, while I'm cutting open the box, if you guys are new here, if you want to make sure you don't miss the rest of the videos in this series, and if you want to support the channel, don't forget to go down below and subscribe. It's the best thing that you could do, and I greatly appreciate it. All right, we have this thing cut open. Let's open it up and actually see what we have inside. We have some, folded up newspaper type stuff. It looks like actually the ads that oh yeah. It looks like a lot of the ads that I talk about in the channel here and there. All right, and inside of a bag, it looks like we have our set. All right, it's coming in a Whitman Classic album, and then we have padded stuff on the bottom. All right, so let's take a look. We have a peace dollar set, 1921 to 1935, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. All right, let's see what we have going on here. Now, the 21... is one of the key dates. We also have the 28P. It should be an entire set, so we have our 28P right there, which is also a key date. And yeah, we have everything, including the 2021. So the 2021 he included in the set, and that is really awesome. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move these over to flips. I'll take each one of the pages out, put them in flips, and then we'll display them. We'll kind of do a quick overview of what each one of the coins looks like. We'll talk about certain dates, grades, and things like that, and we will go from there. So if you guys are in the numismatics, like I said, I think you'll really like this. So let's go ahead and get this book open and see what we have. Okay, as I was pulling these out, putting them in flips, I was kind of taking a look at them. I decided that I don't want to do like a specific breakdown of each single coin. That would make this video just way too long. What we're going to look at is some of the key examples. We're going to look at some of the nicer examples, and we're going to talk about what might happen when we send these off to be graded. So we're going to start with our 21. Now the 21, we will go ahead and pull out of the flip, and we will look at specifically, of course, only with gloves on. We're taking a look at a 1921 high relief peace dollar. You can actually see it under the scope, or under the camera here. You can see that very high relief there on the edge. Now they switched from high relief to normal relief very quickly because it was breaking the dies, but this is a gorgeous 21 example. Now the thing about 21s is it's very common, especially right here above my fingertip, for that to be weak, almost flat, even in uncirculated examples. That was just the die wear. Also, there's normally a little bit of flatness here, but as I look at this 1921, I do believe that this is not going to come back uncirculated for a number of reasons. On some of the other flat spots that are a little bit flatter than I would expect, not only do you see them being a little bit flatter, but you also see some discoloration, which is a sign that there has been some rub at those areas. And so I think you are probably going to see this one come back in an AU. Might get lucky and get an AU+, but I don't think you're going to see an uncirculated with this 1921 peace dollar. Either way, it's a gorgeous example. In this grade, it's got to be worth at least $400. At retail, you might even get 5 and up for it. 21 peace dollars, especially this nice, are becoming a little bit harder to find. So this is a gorgeous example, one that I'm sure he is proud to have in this set as we get it graded. Now, a lot of the other ones we're going to look at, like the 22D. This one's a little bit better of a date when you get up into the uncirculated grades. Unfortunately, I don't believe this one is going to come back uncirculated for the same reasons. It does appear to have some rub on the reverse eagle here, and a little bit of rub on the front as well. It's still a nice example. I'm not 100% certain what's going on with the color either. That's something else I would worry about. Don't worry about that spot right there. That's just a piece of foam. But it's still a nice example of a 22D. Now, taking a look at our 23 Philly, I just want to show you this one because it is a gorgeous no-doubter. This one is going to come back uncirculated. What grade? Could be a 63, could be a 64. but it is a gorgeous example of a 1923 piece dollar. This one, anybody would be proud to have as part of a set. That is a beautiful, beautiful coin. We have some other ones here, some better dates when they get uncirculated. 23D, for example. You know, a lot of these I think are going to have some issues coming back Unc. We'll have to see what PCGS says. I'm not even going to try and guess what PCGS is going to say. I gave up on that years ago. I've been grading coins for a long time, and I've even sent in coins that were graded one way by a different company. Like, I don't mean like Annex or, you know, well, Annex is fine, but I don't mean like some of the mom and pop grading companies. I mean, I've taken coins out of NGC holders, sent them into PCGS, and they came back a completely different grade. AU to Unc, for example, from NGC to PCGS, went to came out of an AU holder in NGC, came back uncirculated from PCGS. So I guess sometimes it really depends on what their coffee is like for the day. But this is a gorgeous example of the first 9 of this set. The 21 is really nice. I don't feel like that's going to get an Unc, but you definitely have some Uncs on this page. And like I said, this 23 is a really nice example. We'll have to see what happens when we get them back from PCGS. All right, let's go ahead and put these into a box, and then we're going to flip the next page and take a look at some of the key dates in there, and then we'll keep going. Here we go. Okay, so we have our second page out. I've taken a little glance at each one of them under a loop. Of course, we looked at the 28, we looked at the 25S. Now, one thing people might not realize about piece dollars, and that you should, is that even though piece dollars are normally looked at as a very common coin, that's actually accurate when you look at circulated grades. So everything except for 21 and 28P in fine, in VG, even VF, you know, really doesn't go past $30 to $40 to $50. Even the 34S, you know, stops at around $60 at VF. But once you get past 1925, not including the 25S and the 24S, of course, everything becomes a better date at uncirculated. So finding uncirculated examples of those later coins can be tough. And just to give you a really good example of that, if you take a look at, let's say we're going to look at the 1927. So the 1927, you know, at circulated grade, at VG is like a $30 coin, at Fine's like a $30 coin, at VF like $35. Once you get up to uncirculated, it starts to get into the hundreds, whereas if you look at like an MS63, it's a $250 coin. So it's common circulated, it's uncommon uncirculated. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these. We're going to start with the 25S, because this is definitely what you would call an uncirculated key date. Those are also, by the way, known as condition rarities. In other words, the coin's common, but a coin in a certain condition is rare. Conditional rarity is a thing. But we're looking at the 25, and this actually has quite a bit of good detail. Flipping over to the reverse, you can see you do have detail in the breast feathers. It actually looks almost uncirculated when you're looking at it under the camera. That being said, looking at it under the loop, there are some things that we start to notice. There is some definite rub on the breast feathers. This doesn't really work very well here, but there's definitely some rub on the breast feathers. I don't think your 25S is going to come back uncirculated. I do also see some signs. I'm not saying it will come back, but I do see some signs of a coin that's maybe been cleaned. So something also to just keep in mind, if this came back clean, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it's going to, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did, if that makes any sense. It's like a 40-60. Like 40% is coming back clean, 60% is coming back normal is kind of where I'm at with that. Again, getting past all the other ones, we have some nice looking 26s. Our 27s, if we take a look at our 27S right here, you know, this one right here is not, or this is a 27 Philly, I apologize. The 27S, not a bad looking coin as well, but definitely not an uncirculated example either. We also have, I believe, what was it, the 26? Yeah, the 26 Philly. I mean, this one is definitely, you can see it's almost a completely flat breast. This one's probably not going to come back better than very fine to XF. But, you know, 26S is one of those grades where you can really get a better example at uncirculated, because uncirculated of this one is like a $100 coin at an MS60. Even at MS63, it's like a $150 coin. So the 26S, you definitely could get a better example for as nice as the set looks. Now, of course, we're going to take a look at our 28 Philly, because this is our next key date. Let's get it out of the flip under the camera. And yeah, I mean, it's a nice looking 1928. You got good detail in the hairline there. Flip it over to the reverse. You do have full breast feathers, things, you know, there's a lot of good stuff about this coin. What I don't like is if you look like here, this coin has definitely been handled without gloves. You can actually see the lines of a fingerprint going around up near United and E Pluribus. I do wonder what that's going to do to the grade of the coin. I don't think you're going to get uncirculated on this one either. This is still going to be a $350 to $500 coin, depending on what it comes back. But I don't think, I could be wrong. Again, it's hard to guess what NGC and PCGS will say. We're sending these to PCGS, of course, but I don't think this one's going to come back uncirculated. We'll see what PCGS says. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. So that is page 2. We have one more page to take a quick glance over, and then we'll wrap this video up. In the second video, what we're going to do is we're going to send them off to the PCGS. I will show you the process, filling out the form, all that stuff. So again, if you guys want to see that video, if you want to see the process of sending off this many peace dollars to PCGS, stick with me. And in the next video that we do on this book, it won't be the next video, but the next video we do on this book will be us showing you how to submit them to PCGS. All right, let's get to the next page. Okay, so we have our final page out. We have 7 coins left to take a quick glance at. Now, we have our 34S here, which we're going to take a look at. Of course, the 2021, that's going to be uncirculated for sure. Hopefully, it comes back a 69 or a 70. The fact that it's already out of the capsule, was already put into the Whitman folder, now into a flip to send off, I don't think we're going to get an MS70 back on that one. Generally, with these, you don't want to put them in folders. You want to leave them in their original capsule until you get them graded, if you plan on having them graded. But it's still a nice 2021, and you know what? Maybe we're wrong and we get lucky. I was very careful putting it into the flip, so I could be incorrect. Taking a look at these, though, we're going to look at some of the condition rarities, if you will. We'll start with the 34S, because that is the one that really kind of stands out. A 34S at MS60 is like a $2,500 to $3,000 coin. Unfortunately, what we have here is nowhere close to that. I think you're probably going to get like a VF back on this one. You can see under the camera, it actually looks better than it does under the loop, to be honest with you. I was just looking at this coin under a loop. Under the camera, it almost looks like an XF, but I think it's going to come back a VF, because even though you can see the separation of the layers of feathers here, it's really hard to see the actual individual feathers. So if this gets an XF, that would be cool. I think it's going to get a VF, but we'll see what PCGS has to say. Of course, we have our 35s. These are also better. Now, one thing I didn't tell you about condition rarities, which I want to kind of hint back on, is if you look at a good example of, conditional rarities with with Peace silver dollars, is the 1923D. Now, everyone considers the 23D a pretty common date, because in circulated condition it is. VG Defined is still a $30 coin. Very Fine's a $30 coin. Extra Fine, a $30 coin. Once you get up into the really high uncirculated grades, even in MS60 it's over 100, but once you get up into the really high uncirculated grades, based on gray sheet values, the 23D is the most expensive peace dollar. And the reason I say that is because, and I'll pop this up on the screen so you can see it. At MS66, a 23D peace dollar grades for sheets for $3,400. In other words, an MS66 23D peace dollar gray sheet values at $34. At MS67, the very next grade, $110,000. So it shows you how much power a lot of these grading company has. If you send off a 23D, there's a difference. They have the, obviously they're going to use their professional opinion, but they have the power to say it's a $3,500 coin or it's a 6-figure coin. Crazy amount of power with the grading companies they have right there. But we are going to send all these off. So the next video is going to be me sending off this entire set. There's the rest of it here ready to go inside of the box. We're going to send all these off and see what PCGS has to say. So the very next video will be me showing you how I sent these off. We'll be filling out the paperwork. I'll show you the fill out paperwork. We'll get these sent off to PCGS and we'll see what they have to say. And then the third video will be me unboxing the PCGS submission to see what the grades actually came back as. So I hope you guys are subscribed so you don't miss out on those videos. It was a lot of fun doing this one and starting this process. We'll see what they say when we get them back. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like before you go, and we'll see you next time.